Good morning and welcome to the 2019-20 District Planning Webinar. My name is Debbie Thompson, the Director of Planning for the Division of Consolidated Planning and Monitoring at the Tennessee Department of Education. My contact information is on the screen. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns about the planning process or if your district is in need of an extension. Today, we are going to look through the former design of the former planning tool. We're going to explore the features of the new planning tool in Inform Tennessee and review resources, context, and timelines for the 2019-20 planning cycle. During the 2017-18 planning year, we piloted with 10 districts to look at the design of the former planning tool and then start to analyze the needs of what a new planning tool would need. Many of you are familiar with the data that was projected as well as represented in the data tables in the old planning tool. A lot of our pilot districts commented that the data did not represent itself in a collaborative manner. Instead, it was very stagnant and it limited the collaboration spirit amongst LEA and district planning team members that were able to go in and really deep dive into their data. So looking at root cause analysis, it also hindered the ability to analyze where districts were performing compared to their neighboring districts as well as districts with the same demographic. We heard that feedback and we really tried to integrate into the new planning tool Inform Tennessee, a platform that gave districts and their planning teams an ability to really look at the root cause, but also to focus in on student subgroups that may need additional support. Additional feedback from our pilot group was that the plan items, the goals, strategies, and action steps were somewhat cumbersome. When you went in to print them, when you went in to identify deadlines, it really was not a working document. It really was hard for some of the planning teams to go in and look at it and create a living plan that really aligned their strategies and goals to funding. So again, as a department, we took back this feedback and thought through how we could improve the planning tool to better serve the districts across the state. During the 2018-19 planning cycle, all districts and schools across the state of Tennessee will be using the new planning tool, Inform Tennessee. The tool provides the following: informative dashboards, data on comparable districts, insights about data. You're able to communicate with your peers on the planning team, tools for idea sharing between districts, and functionality to produce usable printable versions. So instead of having to copy and paste from the planning tool to provide districts documents, you will be able to print PDF and Excel documents straight from Inform Tennessee. So once you log into Inform Tennessee, you're going to see a district homepage. On the district homepage on the left, you're going to see status updates, school plans. On the right, you're going to see messages and the planning calendar that will be uploaded by the department. This is really the driver of all things in Inform Tennessee. We're going to break down the different components and do a deep dive, but this truly is the homepage that will focus the work that districts and schools will be expected to do within the planning tool. So as mentioned, there is a flow of the planning tool that is similar to the flow of the old planning tool. We are asking districts and schools to explore their data, analyze their needs, prepare a plan, develop that plan, and reflect on plans. So let's first look at the Explore Data feature in Inform Tennessee. So data is broken down into 4 main components: climate and access, educators, academic achievement and growth, and college and career readiness. As you can tell, there are data points that will be preloaded for districts. But instead of just giving you your data, we're also giving you an opportunity to compare yourself to your peers and statewide. So if you look at the bottom of each of these data blocks, you will see bubbles. The gray bubble represents that you are at average or at the same level as your comparable or the statewide average. Red means you are below, and green means you are above or that you are exceeding your peers or the statewide average. When you scroll down to the bottom of this page, you will also see what or who you are being compared to in those bubbles. So for our example today, the characteristics above were compared to these districts. All data being represented today, again, is just samples and does not reflect true district data. But say, for instance, you're interested in taking it a step farther and comparing yourself to districts across the state that may have slightly different demographics. We have built in a filter to do that. On the left side of the screen, click Filter, District or Benchmark, Close and Apply. That will give you the option to pick and choose who you are being compared to and give districts the ability to compare themselves statewide to their peers. So within the Explore Data section of Inform Tennessee, you can always send messages to your peers on your district planning team as well. By using the blue message icon, you can add comments that will post into the planning tool. You can also capture images and capture insights. Districts have said this has been very helpful in the pilot when preparing documents and presentations for school board and outside stakeholders. You can also do a deep dive into the data. So you can tell that on that data page, you had a very high level overview of data points. But by scrolling down and clicking, you can actually go in and do a more in-depth overview of each of those. It can break it out by student subgroup. It can break it out by what type of early post-secondary opportunities. Again, just a sample of what a deep dive would look like into some of our data points in Inform Tennessee. Again, just showing the differences that we have tried to implement into the system to show that you all have data at your fingers, and this should be driving the planning process for our districts and our schools. New to the Inform TN planning tool is also the District Explorer. The District Explorer will give districts an opportunity to deep dive into different matrices as well as looking at their peers across the state. So first, you would select a matrix and then use those drop downs to really deep dive into what you're looking at. It would populate into two graphs that you, again, could use if you wanted to really explain to stakeholders what the data represents for your district in comparison to districts within your core region or districts across the state. We feel like the graphics are a true added addition to what is available in regards to tools and resources for districts. So once you've deep dived into your data and you've copied over some of your images and copied over some of your data points, then those will go onto a board similar to a Pinterest board. So you're taking those ideas and you're copying those and you're putting them on this board. So all of your LEA planning team members can all work together on looking at what different data pieces have been flagged by their peers. By clicking at the top, you will also see that you are able to create new as well as select all. So which needs are truly priorities in your district, and how are you going to dive into those needs and really truly look at what needs to be prioritized. We recommend that districts have 3 to 5 prioritized needs that they are truly trying to work on in one academic year. Needs have titles. They also align to those data pieces that we looked at earlier, those data sections. They also need a description, and then if you have any type of supporting documentation you would like to upload, we've given you the option of uploading that into the Create a Need section as well. So once you've identified your needs, you've done a deep data analysis, now it's time to plan. First, it's important that you remember that you need to identify those team members. And we, as a department, encourage you to ensure you're having a diverse population of stakeholders, school personnel, community members, students if appropriate, and then parents of students. Keep in mind, the plan should be a living document. This should be revisited throughout the school year and is not a one and done. When the Division of Consolidated Planning and Monitoring comes out to monitor school districts across the state, we do ask to see documentation of what the planning team does, as well as what it looks like throughout the school year. So what are you doing to revisit that district and LEA plan, and how are those stakeholders being prompted and involved in that process? So you've now looked at your planning team and how you're going to plan, but let's think about our needs. So each prioritized need should include some processes and challenges, some root causes of those progresses and challenges, and prior strategies that may have worked in that process. So again, just recircling back to what those prioritized needs look like. Okay.